It's situation. What I figured out was that this guy next door had one of the things he screamed through the wall was that he used to work for them at one time in their electronics company. And he said, the woman is an idiot, but that guy is an electronic genius. So I said, oh my gosh, he has an electronic background. So I figured he hired them. And typically they say, well, I don't really know, or maybe they're experimenting on me, or I don't know because, of course, it's a conspiracy. I mean, ultimately, that's always one of the answers is, anytime they don't have an answer for a question like that, they just say, well, it's a conspiracy. What do you expect? Why you, Derek? Why are you being targeted in this way?
I was in the Navy from 75 to 82. And the last year of my enlistment was when I started to be surveilled. I worked at NSA at the time for the U.S. Navy. And during this last year, I realized that I had come under surveillance by this particular organization. During this last year, I realized that I had come under surveillance by this particular organization. And I was hoping that after that year was up, after my enlistment was up, that all the harassment would end. However, it did not. And it has continued since 1982 up until the present. So I realized that at that point that I was not alone, that this was basically a huge area of the military covert community that targets individuals in this country.
So again, what were they after? Were they trying to drive you crazy? Were they trying to discredit you? Did you have some information that they wanted? Why you?
They originally targeted me while in the Navy under suspicion of sexual orientation was really their original idea. They had decided to continue that harassment. Around 2004 was when I found the targeted community. So I realized that at that point that I was not alone, and this was basically a huge area of the military covert community that targets individuals in this country. There's countermeasures, but you have to go to a trained professional to find out what they are, so your situation is not hopeless.
Yes, it's not a norm of this business, but I do probably receive at least one call a month for electronic harassment or something to that effect. It's really difficult to make out what's really going on with these people, and it definitely could be intentional, it could be real, and it could be from everyday sources that are around them, and I try to decipher that and figure that out over the phone with them.
What sort of products could you offer them that might help shield them from this remote covert harassment?
Typically, we find we have good results with shielding paint that reflects 99.9% of microwave radiation and radio waves, so that's a very effective solution. We also have shielding fabrics or cloths that people tend to make canopies out of, and they can sleep underneath them and shield themselves from RF frequencies that way as well.
Derek, how do you get relief from this electronic harassment towards you? Do you employ some sort of a counter electronic measure?
I don't employ any type of methods. I'm okay. Basically, I'm trying to get the stalking, the surveillance to stop, and the 24/7 harassment, the voices that I get at night, the access to my mental processes.
How could we explain
these victims' claims that they're hearing voices inside their heads, assuming that they're not mentally ill?
Yes, that is difficult for me to explain. I truly believe the technology is available to do that.
It's not a matter of any type of shielding a method that would help that.
Let's see what the...
What is that, number one?
You know what, it's off the scale. The signal is so high that it's going off the scale. Just from the effects of this microphone, or this remote microphone alone, it would cause somebody that's electrically sensitive to react severely and start going into the symptoms of headaches, nausea, confused state.
What I would suggest is to look on the internet and find a private investigator who specializes in electronic harassment. And all you have to do is Google electronic harassment, and there's lots of different companies all over the country that specialize in electronic harassment.
Are there weapons and non-lethal weapons that are being developed by the military and law enforcement? Absolutely. I don't doubt that for me. They're well known. You can buy them yourself if you want.